Do you know what's refreshing? This refresher from Starbucks, Trenta Strawberry Acai Lemonade, add cherry powder. That bad boy's refreshing. But you know what else is refreshing? Is this chess game that I played a couple weeks ago. So I'm playing against an opponent who I am significantly higher rated than, but that doesn't mean that you still shouldn't be analyzing your games, even if they are kind of one-sided like this one is. But there's always going to be little lessons that you can take away from for one side or the other. There's ways that I can improve, there's ways that he can improve, and it is good to look at both sides, because that's really how you get better at the game. But okay, I start with one, knight f3. This is my favorite opening move. It's not a hard move to learn, and I highly, highly recommend it just because it's so flexible, and for a lot of different opponents, you're going to have them out of their opening prep as soon as turn one, because this is fairly uncommon. And this transposes into a lot of different d4 openings, so if you play things like the Queen's Gambit and other just weird kinds of stuff, a lot of these structures will look pretty similar. But okay, he's developing his knight. I'm putting a pawn in the center just to try and make room for my pieces to come out eventually. Typically, my plan is I like to fianchetto my bishops. I like to bring my knights out. I'll push this pawn up, develop my bishop this way. I kind of play more like a Kali system. But okay, not the biggest fan of this move by him. He should really just start pushing. This is just a little bit passive. I would have liked to have seen just a bit more aggression from him, but this is still fine. It's not the end of the world. But one thing is that since I'm playing an opening that's so slow, you want to just start, putting pressure on me as quickly as possible, especially if you're black, because you're a tempo behind. But okay, I'm going forward with my plan, bringing my knight out, and he's developing his bishop. This, just putting a pawn in the center, reinforcing this pawn, I'm setting up my whole pawn structure here. Like, at some point, this pawn's going to move up, I'll move this pawn up, and I have like a lot of harmony here in terms of how my pawns are going to be set up. And I'm also controlling a lot of space in his territory too. And really, by playing a move like this, I've seen a number of different people play this, and I'm not totally sure why. I think this move is a move that they play out of force of habit. And a lot of other players will develop their knight this way. And I think that he was anticipating like a knight coming here, which is not going to happen because my knight is over here. But I think that's the whole idea of him pushing a pawn forward. But in this particular case, this is not a good use of time. He's already one tempo behind just by playing as black, and he really needs to be just a bit more aggressive in terms of how he plays. But okay, moving forward with my plan, just pushing a pawn forward, trying to get my bishop out. He goes ahead and castles. He probably could have delayed castling for a bit longer and just tried to find efficient ways of getting pieces out, but computer doesn't hate this. The computer doesn't hate it for either of us right now. But okay, not a fan of this move. I really think if he's going to push a pawn forward, he should push it all the way. The reason why, I guarantee you at some point throughout this game, he's going to end up playing this anyways. So this is, we'll see. I don't remember this game exactly, but probably better just to do it all in one go to save yourself some time. And it's time that is extremely valuable too, especially as black. But all right, finding a better square for my bishop. I probably could have gone here as well, but I don't typically play like this, but it is something to be considered. Getting his knight into the game, so far so good. The computer sees this as more or less a draw. This is the start of things going very wrong. And I don't really understand the thought process behind this move, but when I was just talking about your tempo, your time being very valuable, by moving his knight here, he's giving me even more of what I want. So I can just attack his knight again and force it to move to yet another spot. Like, the knight is never going to have a home here, and he just ends up going back. And this type of structure, I highlighted this earlier, this is what I've wanted the whole time. So he's helping me develop. He's helping me get like my whole structure set up. And you don't want to be helping your opponent like this. And you can see here, just visually, I'm so much like further ahead than him in terms like his pawns are still blocking in his pieces. Like, this is not developed. His rooks are still pretty weak, and he's going to have a hard time pushing anything forward. I'm occupying more space, and the space that I have, I'm controlling it more efficiently. But okay, I move my queen up. I'm reinforcing this square. At some point, maybe like way down the line, I can line up some attacks over here. It's easy to get the queen into the game this way. Okay. Computer doesn't like this move. I think it's because he's wasting even more time. He should be trying to find ways of getting his bishop out. Oh, the computer actually likes this move, to go ahead and break immediately. And that is a pretty good idea. By breaking right here, like this, it helps him get more stuff into the game, but this is just another waste of time. He might still need to play this anyways. But okay, wow, okay, first move that the computer doesn't necessarily like from me. So, computer would have liked this move. So this helps me maintain control of the center. It helps me, it's a more of a flexible move. I could eventually, I could eventually play this and try to win yet another tempo against the knight. That is a strong move. I have, for a lot of my different games, I have a bit of a blind spot whenever it comes to pawn pushes. I have like, unless I see something very clearly obvious, it's like, that's good for me in terms of pawn pushes, I'm not going to do it. And the reason why is because you can't move pawns backwards. And believe it or not, there's a lot of scenarios where you want to push a pawn backwards, but it's against the rules. So moving a pawn forward is a big commitment, and it's something that I need to be better at evaluating. But okay, computer, like, I still have a big advantage moving my rook over here. It's not like a huge end of the world. It actually describes this as an inaccuracy. And my thought process is I want to just get rooks in the center and just try and get pieces more active. I think another idea behind this is I'm trying to find moves where I can kind of pass the turn back to him, because I kind of have a sense that he doesn't fully know what to do here. I mean, he very clearly doesn't know what to do here, but by passing the move back to him, he's going to have to come up with some type of plan. And if he doesn't have a good plan, he's more likely to make a mistake. So, okay, moving his knight back. This gives me a decent advantage. Really, I think he should be keeping his knight here, because this does a good job at helping defend your king. So if anything, he is taking defenders away from his king. This move by me, I'm not the biggest fan of. I probably should have found more ways to play more aggressively. There might even be opportunities to start like a pawn storm over here and just start launching an attack towards his king. I have things that's just eyeing down over here, and it's really just waiting for like the right opportunity to strike. Computer doesn't hate this though by any means. This, not a big fan of. Computer likes it, but he is removing more defenders from his king, And pretty soon here, I'm going to have some opportunities to strike. So he goes ahead and moves his bishop forward, and I find this move for a pawn break. If he takes, he's going to have a hard time defending over here. There's actually sacrifices that I can do on this square. And you know what? I think I actually do that in this game, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played this, so okay. He ends up taking. Probably shouldn't have taken. Like, I'm not sure what he should have done here, to be quite honest. It is getting kind of dire for him. It gives me right now a plus 1.9 advantage, which isn't completely crushing. If he plays perfectly, it is still most likely going to be a draw, but it's enough of an advantage that he's going to be really feeling it. And he's going to be feeling the pressure. He's going to be feeling uncomfortable. And when you're putting that pressure on somebody, they're going to be even more likely to make mistakes. So, okay. Go ahead and I take back with my knight. I'm putting pressure here, putting pressure here. I really want to take that bishop. He moves the bishop back, and I move my knight back. I'm preparing to just start jumping in, really putting more pressure on him, and not the biggest fan of this, to be honest. I mean, I guess it's okay. Oh, you know what? I remember this. I think the idea is that if he takes, of course, I'm happy to take back. We're going to start opening up here. I could check his king, end up winning his queen. Oh yeah, I do like this move by me. And then if he also pushes forward, then he gives me this square for my knight. So I'm really just inching closer and closer towards him. Like, yes, he will have this square, but not really. It's defended so many times, and I can still put even more defenders on the spot. So it's really quite dire for him. This huge mistake, and I'm not sure if I actually think I missed something here. Oh, it's saying I can just take here now. Oh, yeah, I can just take here now, because takes. If I get my queen in here, then I'm eventually going to be threatening all kinds of different stuff. But I go this way instead. Yeah, I think I miss some tactics here. But he does end up helping me quite a bit. Oh, wow, no. In my head, there's definitely some stuff that I missed here. So it's suggesting this, oh, check here, and then I win a rook. All right, let's go back. But okay, I don't deal the finishing blow in the most effective way. So basically, the computer really doesn't like bringing my queen in, but I thought I was being a bit clever here. And I knew that I could always just kind of defend my bishop again and set up like some discover attacks. Wow, this is way more complex. The computer likes this. I guess this helps him trade pieces off, relieve some of the pressure. Okay, it's because he wants to get rid of this knight, because this knight is a potential attacker on the king side. So the more pieces he can get rid of, the safer his king becomes. And my queen and bishop are both gonna kind of tied down here. These are less mistakes that I'm making, and they're more like inaccuracies. Like, they're not losing the game for me. I still have an advantage, but I'm doing myself a lot of harm by playing in this way. But okay, he's also making mistakes too. As I'm playing these moves, to be honest, I don't think I'm thinking this through thoroughly enough, just because of the rating difference between us. I think this is a good example of me being a bit overconfident, not really too afraid. Something to work on. But okay, I move my knight here. He's basically has to take, because if he doesn't, he's gonna be dead. So, oh, he doesn't have to take. He could defend. That's beautiful. I have not. Yeah, so he should be moving back, and then I have to find that my pieces are really tied down. But okay, he takes for some reason. Even now, there's things like this that I'm missing. So for me, I don't typically play like this. I don't typically play like attacking chess. I'm more of a slow paced and positional player. This is a bit outside of my comfort zone and it's a bit outside of my experience. Some players are really good at it. Like Eric Rosen is an incredible player to watch. I'm a big fan of how he plays, but in a lot of ways he's like the opposite of me. And playing like this is really playing more towards my weaknesses and not my strengths. But in order to be a strong player, you kind of have to have a bit of a universal style. But okay, this just ends the game for me. I don't. There's other ways that he could have kept fighting. He could have. What it's suggesting is moving the bishop here. If I can't take, of course, because it's guarded, and the bishop being here defends against a lot of checks. But by moving the rook here, it just ends the game immediately. So I check. He can't take because he's in check right now, so he has to move. I can check again. He can't move here, so he's got to move here, and then it's just mate from that point. He actually resigns here. But okay, definitely a lot to take away from here. And that's part of what I was saying. Even though there is a big rating difference between us, you can see that I made a lot of mistakes here. Even like looking at this graph, it says that I was winning the entire time, and I was. And I played with 93% accuracy, but he still had chances to come back, or not to come back, but to keep the fight going for longer and make my life a lot harder. And since playing attacking chess is more of a weakness for me, he could have had chances to equalize or even gain an advantage if he had played in a more accurate way. But okay, looking at this now, I'm kind of unhappy with how I played. But all right, that's it for me. Get out of here. Bye.